Hello viewers, welcome to another informative video from Aussies Group. Today we are going to talk about my favorite topics, international student success story. We are going to track an international student's journey from education to career to PR. So without further ado, let's talk to Samriddhi. Hi Sam.
Hi Deepa.
Could you please introduce yourself for our viewers?
Yeah, first of all, thank you for having me here. My name is Samriddhi Vasudeva. I go by Sam and I'm a registered social worker here in Victoria. I'm also a qualified solicitor in Victoria.
Wow, that's really impressive profile.
Thank you.
Could you share a little bit about your experience of doing the Masters of Social Work course? What can student expect out of it? How can they best prepare for this?
Okay, so with Masters of Social Work, it wasn't theory-wise, it wasn't very intensive. Yes, placements can be intensive sometimes because there's real-life cases that you work on.
Yeah.
And then I used to have classes once in a fortnight, which was quite easy to balance out part-time job with my studies.
Right.
And then study-wise, it was completely assignment-based, so no exam, which was a win-win situation.
Yes.
And then my experience was wonderful. Made good friends, learned a lot, and all the skills that I got through my Masters of Social Work, I think I can now put that practically in any, I would say, not even in my professional life, but also in my personal life. And yes, of course, getting permanent residency is a jackpot, I would say.
That's delightful to hear.
Yes.
Sam, these courses tend to have really high English language requirements.
Yes.
Sometimes 7 each, no one's less than 7. And some universities are very particular about having that in IELTS as well.
Yeah.
How did you go about cracking that? Can you give some tips and tricks for our viewers?
I would say IELTS is, yes, smart. It is hard work, but it's more of smart work as per my experience. If you know the right tips and tricks, there's no way you can't crack this test.
Okay.
Like watching English movies and reading and talking to your friends and people around in English. That's what helps.
What was your prep routine? Did you?
Yes, I would practice.
Yes.
Every day I would practice at least one essay and time myself for 30 minutes and write an essay.
All right.
This is how I did it.
Were you able to crack it in your first attempt?
So while taking admission, yes, but
Okay.
then after finishing my course, for skill assessment, need to have 7 each in IELTS.
Okay.
You can do it in 2 sittings. That's the new rule.
Okay.
But however, I was able to do it in a couple of sittings.
Wonderful.
I made a mistake that I can tell students.
Sure.
I didn't take the mock test. If you take the mock test, you're better prepared for the real test.
I see.
Yeah.
All right. And that's an interesting tidbit as well, that now they're accepting in 2 states.
It is, yes.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
wonderful.
It's a relief.
Can you talk a little bit about the academic requirement for this course? Because I understand as a counselor that you have to come from a cognate background,
Yes.
right? What sort of cognate background did you come from? How were you able to get entry into this course?
Yes. So my background was law. I studied law, and in law, there are social studies units.
Okay.
So I was able to get admission with my past studies in law. I completed all these social study units. So that's how I got
Okay.
it.
So that is another tidbit for our viewers as well. So if you have prior studies of at least 8 units in sociology, behavioral sciences, it could be related to even human resource management as well. These sort of cognate background, you can get admission into Masters of Social Work. So if you need more detailed consultation on what sort of cognate background you can get admission, and what you may need a bridging course, please contact us and we'll be happy to help you. I think once you've completed the course, I guess the next step is skill assessment.
Yes.
Who's the skill assessment authority? How did you go about cracking that as well?
Well, it's the AASW, Australian Association of Social Workers,
Yes.
and I started a bit in advance. Before completing my studies, I started prepping a little bit of with my part-time job, then studies, and then a little bit of training in IELTS, and then apps like IELTS Tutorial, they help.
Yes.
And then reading, writing again, same thing, practicing every day. So it took me about few months and a couple of attempts, so I was able to achieve it.
The skill assessment.
Yeah, the skill assessment.
And I understand the work placement component of the course plays a crucial role in the skill assessment as well.
It does.
So how many hours of work placement was part of the course?
It was about 1,000 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
And that is exactly how much you would require for a positive skill assessment.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right. So a wonderful news for our viewers is that you have secured your 189 invite as a
Yes.
social worker. And can you talk a little bit about your process? How did you go from the time you started your studies to skill assessment and scoring an invite? What was the entire timeline? How long did it take for you to achieve this?
Ideally, it takes 3 years,
Mhm.
2 years of your studies, and if you have completed your placements on time, then I would say 2 years. It took me 3 years because 2 years of my study, and then there was delay in placements.
Because of COVID.
COVID and few more things. There
Alright.
was a delay, and then yes, 2-3 years of studies, and then about 3 to 4 months to get my IELTS scores,
Mhm.
and then my skill assessment took about a month from ASW, and yeah, so ideally my friends, everyone, 3 years. Give yourself 3 years,
Alright.
and then got my PR invitation very quickly after my skill assessment. Didn't even take more than 20 days. I mean, I know social work is so much in demand.
Mhm.
It's in the priority migration list, skills shortage, and there are so many jobs. So yeah, it was, I would say, anyone who is in social work right now doesn't have to worry.
Dream
Yeah.
come true.
Oh,
profession then.
absolutely. No.
Yes. And can you talk a little bit about how did Aussie's Group help you in this process?
Aussie's Group, I have a lot of gratitude for this company. First of all, regarding my education, my student visa, and then my TR visa, and now my permanent residency, also helping me prepare for IELTS. I visited a few years ago before starting my course, and I met a counselor. I was told that the course I was doing didn't fit with my past background, whatever I was doing, and then my profile was assessed, and very quickly I got my admission, and yeah, I got it later for my student visa. I came back for my PR. I came back. Special mention for Neerav Patel. Thank you so much for my PR, and yeah, this is how Aussie's Group helped me out. So guys, please come here. These guys are good.
Thank you so much for that
Most
pep
welcome.
talk and kind words.
Yes.
So for most students, I'm also interested in. I guess PR is one thing, but what about their career?
Yeah.
Could you talk a little bit about what you do professionally?
Yes.
And I would like to delve into the details of how did you go on to secure your first professional job? Can you give some tips and tricks for the students so that they can get that much needed confidence to go out into the job market and secure their first job?
Definitely. Okay. Number one, networking always helps. Okay. LinkedIn is a gold mine, I would say. Network, reach out to people on LinkedIn, get your CV and your cover letter done, and apply for jobs on Seek and Indeed. There are so many jobs available. And as a social worker, first of all, this is a notion that social workers have to be a social worker to do a job in the social work field. Even if you are doing a closely related job in social work, you will this is how, I mean, you apply for a caseworker job, you can apply for anything in domestic violence, in legal communities. There are so many jobs related to this field. So yeah, I mean, networking helped. Having a profile on Seek and Indeed helped. Recruiters, they reach out to you. Yes, in social work, this is the shortage. It's such a great shortage. I would say great, the shortage. And the recruiters, they reach out, and there are so many jobs available. Just network, be there, put yourself out there, and
And
you'll
I
get a
would
job.
give you credit as well for being a proactive student.
Oh, thank you so
So
much.
opportunities lie out there, but students have to be the one to
Yes.
go reach for those
Yeah,
opportunities.
that's what hard work plus smart work always helps. Yeah.
Well, that was delightful to talk to you,
Thank you
Sam.
so much.
And we wish you the best for your endeavors.
Thank you.
So that's the video, guys. So if you would like to know more about social work courses or about the PR pathway for social work courses, please talk to a very talented education and migration team at our Collins Street and Elizabeth Street offices. We are always happy to help you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.